Hey, you're on mute today, Allie.
I'm on mute today. I'm the one. Good morning. And it's not even morning. Wow, what a day in the stock market. I'm Melissa Corum, joined by Ed Carson. Welcome to Stock Market Today. And Ed, we're of course going to be breaking down the broad market action. It was a strong day, especially for the NASDAQ. But give us a rundown of the stocks that we're going to be highlighting today.
Yes, good afternoon, Allie. We're going to be taking a look at Lululemon, which retook a buy point, Ciena, which broke out, and Shopify, which is extending a rebound along with a lot of other tech leaders.
Yes, they are. And let's take a look at the major indexes. This is a chart of the NASDAQ gaining 1.7% for today's session, with the Dow up 0.4%, the S&P 500 up 0.75%. And this action comes after yet another test at that 21-day line, Ed. We didn't quite close above it on Friday, but we sure are extending that momentum higher today.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good action here. If you think about it, maybe if you look at the last couple of weeks, maybe we're moving into a rally that's a little bit not, that's not as steep. And if we could go at a little bit more gradual pace, or, that's something that's more sustainable. And that would be a situation where the leaders could continue to run. You wouldn't have to worry about some of these big pullbacks because we were getting too high. But on the flip side, we didn't get too cold. It's sort of Goldilocks. We're not too hot, and maybe we're not too cold. And that's even though we're talking about bears, that would still be pretty bullish.
That's right. Yeah. And we've been talking about on IBD Live and the show how the bulk of the trading has been happening in this range here. So we'll see how long that holds. But it's no doubt been a pretty good day for a lot of growth stocks. So let's start off with a look at Lululemon, which gained over 3% today. So reasserting itself back into that buy zone over a flat base after finding support at its own 21-day line on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of stocks pulled back. So stocks that were just above their buy zones, a lot of them came back in, but it never was broken. It was only down a couple percentage points from that buy point. Nice action today. Again, this is part of what we're seeing. There's leadership that's out there. The cloud software is coming back, and we'll talk about that more later. But this is sort of a real economy type stock. Some of the retail names, some of those kind of stocks, they're doing well. And again, if you can have a more sustainable rally with a broader leadership, that's really pretty nice situation for investors going forward.
Yeah, that's for sure. And elsewhere, let's check in on Ciena, which also had a nice day, up 3.8% in above average volume, breaking out over this 57.63 area. Spent a little time at its 10-week moving average, or the 50-day line on this daily chart, but was able to rebound higher. So what do you make of this move? Because we did see it attempt to clear this downward sloping trend line here, and that quickly faltered.
Yeah, and so you can sort of see that it's all as one long consolidation. Obviously, a lot of things came down, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes a stock will try to break out and fake out, but if it comes back, that doesn't mean you can't buy it again. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to buy it, but you can buy it again. There's a lot of positive things out there. The earnings growth is very strong, but the sales growth is not, which is sort of strange. There are some positives. Huawei, the Chinese telecom gear giant, it's running into trouble in the US and the UK in terms of being allowed to be used. That's a positive for Ciena, sort of a tailwind going forward. So really strong volume today and yesterday. So that's another positive sign on this stock.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of stocks that we've been keeping a close eye on that have earnings this week, Ciena, it looks like, doesn't have earnings until early September. So potentially a little bit of time to build some cushion there ahead of the earnings report, whereas with a lot of these other rebounds that we've seen have come right ahead of earnings. And speaking of Shopify, Shopify almost came down to its 50-day line on Friday, was able to edge up into positive territory, adding to the gains today, up over 5%. But Shopify has earnings in 2 days, Ed.
Yeah, not even 2 days. It was Wednesday morning, so only 1 day of trading, and then here we come. On a weekly chart, it almost hit the 10-week line, even closer than it did the 50-day line. But we saw this with so many other stocks, with cloud software, Datadog, there was a lot of difference. Microsoft came close. Other stocks, Snap, JD.com, a whole bunch of them came down to the 10-week line and rebounded. That provides sort of a buying opportunity. A lot of these stocks didn't have great buying opportunities since their initial breakouts, maybe back in May or April. So that's a positive. But yes, Definitely want to look at. It's getting pretty extended from that 10-week line already. And with earnings coming up, I think that would be very difficult to
Mhm.
buy, but it's definitely one to be watching. I think that might be important for a lot of other stocks too, because this has been such a leader.
Yes, it has been such a leader. And as we've noted a lot, there's been quite a few buying opportunities here with this one throughout the rally. So if you were one of the shareholders who got in early, maybe a pullback here, you likely have a lot of cushion heading into this earnings report. But nonetheless, always important to know where your line in the sand is. But we will be keeping a close eye for sure Wednesday morning when Shopify issues its results. That's for sure. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And I guess I was a little out of sorts at the beginning of the show because we do have a very special interview coming up for you. We have a sneak peek coming out later today. We can make it official. I was able to interview Dave Portnoy, founder and president of Barstool Sports, fresh off of his interview with the president of the United States. We talked about his trading tactics, his feelings on Warren Buffett, and a lot more. It was a lot of fun and got an inside look at how he's approaching the market. So we definitely hope that you check out this sneak peek that is set to hit social later today. We encourage you to like, share, retweet, comment, whatever you want. We want to get your feedback, and so that's happening later today. And then, of course, from IBD's perspective, the market and stock conversation will continue tomorrow morning on IBD Live, won't it, Ed?
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to that Portnoy interview as well. That is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we hope you check out the sneak peek. And then the full interview is going to drop next Monday, August 3rd, as part of our monthly investing strategy series. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us today. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow.